It is 4 o'clock, and we are broadcasting live across multiple platforms, including X America News. I'm here alongside my co-host, Mr. Rob Spencer, and we got a great show for you. As promised, we're leading with Donald Trump's quest to end mail-in ballots, and essentially by doing that, ending the cheating that is obviously so rampant. Can you say that now? I don't know. Maybe we'll get a strike. Maybe we'll get a strike on YouTube. We got that and much, much more. Some interesting stories to get to, funny stories. You're not going to want to miss it. The Paul Harrell program starts right now.
Paul Harrell program.
All right, as always, folks, I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Rob Spencer. Rob, take it away, sir.
You know what? I mean, honestly, does anybody think that 2,000 Mules, by Dinesh there is just, it's fake news? A lot of people will say that. Well, they'll say that there's no there there. They'll say that we don't have any evidence to prove that election fraud exists. But I'm going to tell you something right now. If you are an illegal immigrant and the current president of the United States is, shipping people out left and right, even though that it's nowhere near the amount of people who have been shipped out by Barack Obama or even Joe Biden at this point. Donald Trump has got a lot of catching up to do just to ship out the number of individuals that Joe Biden, had, deported. But anyway, if you're an illegal immigrant and you have a driver's license and they go to the polls and are allowed to vote in certain blue states, California, 100%. You can even ask for their driver's license. You can go up there and just try to say, yeah, I'm a registered voter, and I'm going to go ahead and vote in these elections. That happens in person, so you can imagine the amount of fraud that takes place in the actual elections here with the mail-in voting. And Donald Trump is 100% correct. When you look at other countries who have secure and safe elections, and you say, well, will you allow mail-in ballots? No. Because it's why the hell would we allow mail-in ballots? That is met with fraud.
Well, and I've already said, some liberals out there, they're saying, oh, well, the military, they vote. Those are absentee ballots.
Those are absentee ballots.
Those are that's different. That's not what we're talking about here.
And what they're going to do is make exceptions. If you are like homebound and you can't physically go to the ballots, 100%. I'm also in favor. And we'll talk about this over the next hour. I'm also in favor of making Election Day a national holiday.
Yes.
Where, how many freaking holidays do we have that we're like, why are the banks closed?
Yeah.
And you're driving through, they're like, why are the banks closed on a Monday? And you're like, oh, it's such and such day. This day or this day, and you're like, what the hell is that? Like, why is that a holiday?
Yeah, you should do that first Tuesday in November or the second Tuesday or whatever it is. I can't remember.
Do it.
And you say, yeah, and can you imagine? You see, I immediately think of the great barbecue that we would all have because
Election Day barbecue.
Oh my gosh!
Can you imagine the
set
party?
Up outside of polling stations, and people would cook out. It would be a celebration.
For those of you who are watching online here, Paul Harrell is a prolific barbecuer. He has a smoker that I'm an aspiring smoker of meats.
Yes, the term is pitmaster.
Pitmaster. Okay,
yes,
there you go.
Yes.
Well, that just shows my greenhorn position here. But Paul knows about the smoking of the meats. Okay.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. It's something that I am very passionate about. Matter of fact, we're looking. We're looking for a barbecue sponsor as well. We certainly want to get one of those, or a grill manufacturer.
Sure.
We're talking about everything from the small stuff to the. We've been in contact with the grill that I have is called a Lone Star Grill.
Okay.
And
I've got a Pit Boss,
made
which
out
is a
of,
little bit maybe that's too commercial.
Yeah, well, Pit Bosses are fine. Is it a stick burner or a
No,
pellet?
it's a pellet.
Yeah,
it's a
you know,
pellet,
look,
and I mean,
the
it's
whole
a little
debate
bit,
over the
hands-off
pellet,
stuff.
the whole debate over the pellet smoker. People like to have it. I've cooked on a pellet smoker, and it does make you a little sad as somebody that labors over a stick burner like myself. It is not the same flavor, but it gets. It gets close. If you want barbecue, there's nothing wrong with a pellet smoker. My smoker's a Lone Star Grill with a Z, Grills, and it comes out of Texas.
Great company.
1/4-inch steel, which is what you want to have. You don't want to really go anything unless it's a pellet smoker. But if you're talking about a stick burner, you need at least 3/16, but you really need 1/4-inch. And it's just something I've gotten into over the last 15, 20 years, and it all started with trial and error. Matter of fact, it was so bad. I was cooking out every night. I got married, and it was like something happened. I immediately was like, I've got to learn to cook.
Yeah.
And so I remember my wife just being like, no, it's Saturday and
More meat.
He's going to the store because I wasn't good. It would, and then I made some ribs one time for Christmas Eve for my family. And my sister sat me down, and my brother-in-law too, and he said, Paul, we got to talk, man.
These weren't good.
Your meat tastes like it's been in a house fire. That's what they said.
Paul,
been in a house
I'm
fire.
sorry, man.
And I was like, what do you mean?
That's really unfortunate.
And so then I came to terms with it. Like I just didn't know anything about fire, and that's the whole key. Is burning a clean fire, and when you're a pit master, all you really do is you watch fire all day.
Yeah, so you were literally smoking it out.
yeah, it was bad.
It smelled like.
I mean, I could get to the tenderness, but it was terrible.
So here's the thing. So my father-in-law, he used to own Corky's here in Jonesboro.
Yeah,
and if you're familiar with the South, so Memphis, Tennessee. Honestly, it's so people talk about Kansas City barbecue. There's different types of barbecue, but a Memphis barbecue, that is a thing. If you want to get some good, go ahead.
No, you're exactly right. Like I appreciate it all. Like I guess maybe because I grew up around here, and we're an hour from Memphis. I've had a lot of that. But it's crazy how different it can be. When you think of in Memphis, you think of the Rendezvous, right? And from what I can tell, they're cooking. They're cooking not BB Kings. They're cooking their barbecue over more of a direct heat. It's more of a fast cook than a long.
Yeah,
but it's still good.
It's
and the
burn and
sauce
turn.
is good. Yeah,
it's burn and turn. So my father-in-law, he owned Corky's Ribs and Barbecue. And it was here locally. It probably would have done better, in my opinion, had it had a private club license. So we're in a dry county where you can't serve alcohol, and so when you think of ribs and it's just that environment. It's like a sports bar type environment there, and it probably would have done better. But their faith. Didn't allow for that, and that's totally fine. They're my father-in-law is a great man. I have nothing but respect for him, but he's taught me how to cook ribs.
Okay.
He's taught me how to cook. He's taught me how to smoke like meats, and I came over there, helped me assemble my grill, all of this stuff.
Nice.
And he's just a great dude. One of my favorite people on the face of the planet, and he's taught me how to cook ribs, and a good ribs is honestly, you want to find your way to a woman's heart, get her some good food if she's a carnivore,
right.
Make sure she can't be one of those eating the green leaves and all of that stuff or whatever. But if she likes some meat, doing it well. That's the quickest way.
Yeah.
And so, Paul, you had a great family there that pulled you to the side.
They
and said,
did.
Hey,
they were
listen.
Great.
Hey, dude, you're sucking it up here.
Look, are you familiar with the Dunning-Kruger effect?
No.
It's this idea that it's like I'll have to find it here in just a minute. It really explains my journey in barbecue.
Okay.
About how confident you are when you start out, but what you don't know is so large, and then
you're sucking it up.
You find out how much you don't know about it, so your confidence level actually plummets, and that's what every good barbecuer will go through.
Right.
And then over time, though.
Yeah.
You because you have that drop off in confidence, because you think I can do this, anybody can do this, and then you have this drop off. And
right. And you're just like, oh, I forgive you for your lackluster.
Oh yeah, I will say, yeah. I mean, I'm very confident now.
Right.
I've regained that initial confidence because there was
Right.
so much I didn't know that I had to figure out.
Right, you're almost like Fat Bastard from Austin Powers when he's like, there's somebody I gotta forgive myself. I gotta forgive
That's
myself.
right. That's a good
Right,
point.
and like
Yeah.
that's what it is. But I
haven't seen that movie
like
in forever.
we didn't plan to talk about
No,
smoked
no, we
meat.
need. I'm sorry.
We probably need to get on this stuff,
Yes,
whatever.
the
But there's
ballot.
probably
Let's
a lot
do
of
it.
dudes out there that have gone through this journey. I'm just gonna say,
Yeah.
stick in there. Hang in there.
Yeah, hang in there, man.
You got it. Watch some YouTube videos.
Oh yeah,
But take it with a grain of salt.
I
because,
would not
it's
be.
not the best
I
advice
would
out
not
there
be
sometimes,
where I
so.
was in barbecue, and maybe we should do a cook and film it or something. But I would not
we
be
need to
here.
do it.
Where
Yeah.
unless it was for YouTube, because it was people like Aaron Franklin, Jeremy Yoder, Chud's Barbecue, Mr. Robinson. Anyway, here we go. Let's do this. Donald
Mail-in
Trump.
ballots.
Mail-in ballots.
What a rabbit trail we
We're
went
about
on.
we're about 24 hours late on this story, but we ran out of time yesterday, so we wanted to lead with this.
Okay.
I'm going to lead a movement, Donald Trump says, to get rid of mail-in ballots, and also, while we're at it, highly inaccurate, very expensive, and seriously controversial voting machines, which cost 10 times more than accurate and sophisticated watermark paper, which is faster and leaves no doubt at the end of the evening as to who won and who lost the election. So we'll know at the end of the evening.
Yes.
Sorry, that's my fault. We are now the only country in the world that uses mail-in voting. All others gave it up because of the massive voter fraud encountered. We will begin this effort, which will be strongly opposed by the Democrats because they cheat at levels never seen before, by signing an executive order to help bring honesty to the 2026 midterm elections. Remember, the states are merely an agent for the federal government in counting and tabulating the votes. They must do what the federal government, as represented by the President of the United States, tells them for the good of the country to do. With the horrible radical left policies like open borders, men playing in women's sports, transgender and woke for everyone, and so much more, Democrats are virtually unelectable without using this completely disproven mail-in scam. Elections can never be honest with mail-in ballots / voting, and everybody, in particular the Democrats, know this. I and the Republican Party will fight like hell to bring honesty and integrity back to our elections. The mail-in ballot hoax using voting machines that are a complete and total disaster must end now. Remember, without fair and honest elections in strong and powerful borders, you don't have even a semblance of a country. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. This is what I have to say about it real quick, and I'll let you take over, Rob. Mike Lindell is the name that comes to mind. This is what I got to interview Mike Lindell on the Millsdale Report a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
Or several months ago. It was sometime this year. And he said the clock was ticking. We don't have a lot of time. 2026 is upon us, and we've got to take action to address the machines.
He's not wrong.
We've got to take action. And so, to me, it seems like America's pillow salesman is got to be very happy. If not, does he have the ear of the president on this issue? I would venture a guess and say that he probably does.
Let me go through this scenario here. All right. So, I'm friends. I'm going to say her name is Camille. I'm not going to give any other information about Camille. She is a conservative in a predominantly liberal area of California. Okay? She is a phenomenal speaker. I've sat in one of her conferences, and she's just incredible. Anyway, so she told me that this was leading up to the 2020 election. All right. She said, I live in a conservative neighborhood inside of a liberal town. We're literally in a bubble.
Yeah.
Right. And so there's this bubble that exists in this liberal town, and she's a conservative. Excuse me. I'm so sorry about that. My energy drink has got a lot of carbonation in it. And she said, we came home from work one day in this conservative neighborhood, right? Like American flags out there. And she said almost every mailbox on that street was open. This is 100% fact, what I'm saying right now, because I believe Camille, and she had no reason to lie about this. She said, we went home and every mailbox, or just about every mailbox, was opened that day.
What was inside?
Someone had gone through there and taken all of the mail-in ballots that had been delivered that day.
Wow.
Okay?
And they left all the mailboxes open.
Yeah, because they're going through there quick. Like, I mean, you're thinking about, like, if you're going through a neighborhood,
Right.
you're trying to do it with a right, and maybe you try to throw the mailbox closed, right? But you don't care if it's open or not. All you care about is that ballot.
Yeah.
And they got the ballot, right? And so then she said, I personally went to an in-person voting station whenever it was open for early voting. I went there, and someone said, the lady taking the numbers, oh, you've already voted.
Wow.
And she had to place a provisional vote. Now, this happens. This is 100% confirmed. This happened where all of these people were sent a mail-in ballot.
And it was stolen.
And it was stolen, and they had to go place a provisional ballot.
Let me ask you this. How do you do that without coordination from the post office? Like, somebody's got to know in the
they
post
knew.
office, here they are, they're coming, they're going to
Yeah.
be in the mailbox this day, and then you start tailing the mail truck?
I
Like,
don't know.
I mean, what I'm saying is this is a conspiracy. This isn't just one guy doing this. You have to have planning and knowledge. And so it's
Yeah.
exactly what Trump is saying.
Sure.
That all the Democrats know that this is going on.
Yeah, so the whole point of her, what she said was, and she's a very centrist, Republican. Like, she leans conservative, but she is by no means
Far
a
right.
MAGA.
Right.
Like, she's going to vote for Donald Trump because she felt like it was better than Joe Biden at the time.
Yeah.
Whatever. But she is in no way a MAGA. I'm going to tell you something right now. She is not MAGA. But anyway, and you're just like, that's one neighborhood. And we saw countless videos where people were stuffing these ballot boxes at 2:00 in the morning. You want to tell me, give me a reason that a person pulls up at 2:00 in the morning to a ballot box and they have upwards of 50 ballots that they're putting in there.
Yeah.
Do they have 50 friends that they went around, hey guys,
Let me do you a favor.
Let me just help you out here.
I know you guys are going to be asleep at 2
Yeah.
a.m. I'll drop your ballots off for you.
Yeah.
5 hours after
Right.
after the polls close.
And we had multiple poll watchers who were whistleblowers and that came out and said that they saw sequential mail-in ballots, unfolded envelopes.
Right.
And you're like, wait a minute. It was unfolded. Like, how did it get into a mailbox if it's unfolded, right? Because
Yeah.
we know that it's a piece of paper, so it had to be folded. And how did they come back in sequential order?
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Yeah, no,
There's
you're
no
right.
way in the world that ballot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 unfolded comes back in sequential order. And you're like, where's the proof? There's the proof.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, what did the judge say? No judge would have gone through that. All the judges said that they didn't have standing.
Yeah.
Because you have a federal judge
Well-
who does not want to override
Right.
an entire
Well,
national
they were
election.
waiting on people like Bill Barr to act. They were waiting on people like
Everybody was kicking the can.
Yeah, and Bill Barr shut the investigation down where you had a U.S. attorney that had intelligence, had evidence of ballots even moving across state lines.
Yeah.
And that was shut down. And there's open testimony of the U.S. attorney saying Bill Barr called us and told us to shut it down.
Yeah.
So there was plenty of evidence. And so I think what Trump is doing here is actually, he's trying to settle all accounts. He's trying to settle the family business. If he's really going to do that, he needs to do arrests. But, over the last 4 weeks, we have it in black and white, proven the Russia collusion hoax was never real. It was totally
Never.
concocted. And now he's going after the 2020 election theft, and he's going to expose that in black and white.
As
is
he
what
should.
It looks like. So,
As he should, because if you believe that the 2020 election, as Jake Tapper, Margaret Brennan, all these liberal hacks said, is the freest and fairest election that we've ever had in our lifetime.
But 2016 was Vladimir Putin, and then we need to go to war with Ukraine. We need to do a proxy war in Ukraine and kill 1.8 million people.
81 million people came out and voted for the dude in the basement.
Right.
What's his policy? What's he going to stand for? I'm not going to shut down the country. I'm going to shut down the virus. Yeah. That's what he said. Yeah. That was literally his only campaign speech. And you're like, okay, well, how are you going to do that? We're going to get the right people involved.
And then remember, Kamala was like, I'm not taking Trump's shot. And then once they got in, well, no,
take the shot.
Put mandates in, and we're going to kick people out of the military.
If you don't take the shot, your life is over.
Yeah. And it's insane.
Oh, my gosh.
Absolutely.
Are you trying to tell me, that if Donald Trump is the second coming of Hitler, and we talked about this yesterday, if Donald Trump is the second coming of Hitler, that you are not justified to cheat in the elections? You are 100% justified to cheat in the elections.
And that's exactly what they did.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Honestly, if you could cheat in the elections, Paul, and Donald Trump is the second coming of Hitler, if you could cheat and you don't, then you're evil.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you cheat?
You're exactly right. Both sides think they have the moral high ground now. Here is lawfare coordinator, Russian collusion criminal, according to the researcher on X, Mark Alias. Mark Alias is a big time Democrat lawyer, and he is always in. Got his tentacles in everything.
Is it Alias or Elias?
Whatever, Mark Elias.
Whatever.
Anyway, the bottom line is this guy has done.
He looks like a liberal.
He
hat.
has done a lot.
Democracy
of
is
bad
on
stuff.
the ballot.
He could very well. I promise you, if they look into him, he could easily be indicted because he was behind the scenes of all of this. He's having a meltdown by this executive order.
Oh, why?
He's actually criticizing the liberal media.
Liz.
He is not hiding the ball. He's not like pretending to be doing something else. That is what he is saying. And it is about damn time that the institutions of this country, the legacy media, first and foremost among them, wakes the fuck up and starts to report and say what Donald Trump himself is saying. I mean, the goddamn Washington Post, and I'm sorry for swearing. I'm sorry for taking the Lord's name in vain, but
No, you're not.
But their headline after Donald Trump's executive order is, and I quote, Trump previews executive order on voting. I'm sorry, what? You think what Brian and I are talking about here is Trump previewing an executive order on voting? It's as if, they are reporting on, Barack Obama or Joe Biden, announcing, Bald Eagle Month, right? I mean, This is not an executive order on voting, and he's not previewing it. He is saying he is going to lead a movement among Republican states to do away with a method of voting that people rely on. He's going to issue an executive order that he does not have the power to do. He's going to expect states to act as his agent in the counting and tabulation of voting. And this is what the legacy media, what the Washington Post, what Jeff Bezos's house organ for Donald Trump reports as previewing executive order on voting. I mean, Brian, our democracy is not going to survive if we do not have more responsibility by the institutions of civil society.
This dude's got this. The media is not liberal enough. The Washington Post is not liberal enough. This is one of the fixers. This is the guy when Trump and others were trying to challenge the election. This was the guy on the Democrat side. This is the guy on the ground. This is one of it escapes me right now, but he has been involved in some really, really dark stuff. Matter of fact, I'm going to Google it real quick. But yeah, if he's having a meltdown over this, then it's an end game for the Democrats' national power structure.
Yeah, they feel powerless at this point. I would ask him calmly. I get fired up. I got fired up just a second ago. But if I were to ask him this very simple question, Mark, has anyone in whether it be 2020 or 2024, has someone voted who is not legally allowed to vote? I'm not asking whether you think that they should be legally allowed to vote, meaning illegal immigrants. But do you believe that anyone has voted who is not legally allowed to vote. And he's going to say, well, I'm sure that there were a few.
Yeah. If even that. Or they'll just say, it didn't, not to the level that it sways the outcome of the election.
How do you know that, Mark? How do you know that? If you don't know how many have illegally voted, if a person goes to the ballot, like here in the state of Arkansas, Paul, what happens when you or I walk into the voting booth? When we walk up to the counter, there's usually some nice ladies sitting right there, okay, in the state of Arkansas. What happens? We walk up there, and they say, hi, my name is Robert Spencer. My name is Robert, okay? My name is Robert Spencer, and I'm here to vote. Okay. Do you have your identification? They ask for that here in the state of Arkansas. Do you have your driver's license?
Yes, they do.
Okay. I gladly pull that out of my wallet. Why? Because I'm legally allowed to vote here in the state of Arkansas, here in the United States. Here it is. Here is my driver's license. By the way, it matches my address on the driver's license, matches what you have on your form there. I'm legally allowed to vote. How many people, how many states don't even have that? I could be Gerald Smith in the state of California, and I could walk in there and like, hey, I'm Gerald Smith. I'm here to vote. Okay, great, Gerald. Here's your ballot. And you want to tell me this is a free and fair election?
I know.
What the hell is wrong with you?
So here's more on Mark Elias or Elias or whatever. I've always said Elias. But,
I think it's Elias.
This is the guy. So this is the guy having the meltdown. Hillary Clinton campaign's top lawyer turns tables on Durham to air Democratic grievances about 2016 election. So again, this guy is, like I said, he's a liberal hack, and he's committed to he was committed to the Russiagate thing. I'm just trying to say like this guy is in it, very very deep, so yeah. I mean, I appreciate what you said, Rob, about the mail-in ballots and your friend's testimony there, your friend's account of what happened.
She's just one person,
yeah,
man.
and like you mentioned, Dinesh D'Souza as well. And then, of course, we can talk about how, I'm glad Trump is also mentioning the voting machines.
Yeah.
That's the part that people don't want to actually look into. For whatever reason, everybody was willing to entertain voter fraud allegations when it came to mail-in ballots. But then when you brought up the machines, and that came down to money. That came down to Dominion having these contracts across the country. I can't believe
that Fox paid.
And Fox paid. Fox settled it right before,
almost
by the way.
$1 billion.
Right before they fired Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, I cannot believe they paid that.
Yeah.
Because you want to tell me that your machines that are not supposed to be on the internet, and it literally happened in court. When
in a hearing in Arizona.
Yeah.
The guy was like, "While we've had this hearing, I hacked one of the machines.
By the way,
it is on the internet."
And he goes, "By the way, I'll change this vote to whatever I want to do." You're like, "No, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
That's a conspiracy theory." It literally happened live on camera.
Yeah, I know, man. I don't really. That's what's so. I will say that's like one of the most discouraging parts of things now is you can have that stuff out there in black and white, and we're so polarized that it doesn't matter. Like, we criticize the way Pam Bondi handled the Epstein thing, right? Rightfully so, and we still want to see the Epstein files and everything else. And but it's just so odd how, and it just shows you the stranglehold that the mainstream media still has. The internet is essentially ending the mainstream media's influence. That's why you're seeing. Actually, this is a great segue. They still have influence, but they are regrouping now.
Okay.
Okay. So the reason why Stephen Colbert is going off the air is not because his show loses money. They're perfectly happy with his show losing $100 million. It cost It cost $300 million is what it was. They were spending $300 million a year on that show.
Yeah, they were losing $40 million.
$40 million, but it cost maybe it cost $100 million, and they were losing $40 million. I don't know, but it's a lot of money. They're perfectly fine to if people were listening to Stephen Colbert course, if they were listening, they probably wouldn't be losing money. So
Sure.
But the point is they're taking him off the air so they can regroup. Their propaganda isn't working. They need new propaganda. They've got to lick their wounds and figure out something else to do. And that is also now happening with MSNBC. People aren't watching MSNBC. Here is Joe Scarborough announcing a rebrand.
We have breaking news as it pertains to our network. This morning, a new name for the network by the end of the year. We will become MS Now, which stands for My Source for News, Opinion, and the World. And look, Andrew, they even have a graphic up. I like it.
There it is.
Actually,
The new logo.
It looks very sporty.
Mississippi Now, everybody. That's what I see. I feel like because that's the
Yeah.
abbreviation for Miss.
Wait a minute. That flag almost looks like a.
Yeah, what do you think?
It almost looks like a P, like PMS now.
It kind of does look like a P. Oh my goodness, it kind of looks like a P.
Yeah, I mean they're missing
Wow.
a leg on it, but it's
Now
like
it's kind of there though.
PMS without a leg.
Oh no.
I don't know about that one.
Kind of. I thought it looked like more of a bookmark. They were going for like a sideways bookmark, but yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, people are calling this. Some people are calling this. This is what people tell me. The worst rebrand ever. The worst rebrand ever. But the reason they're doing this, Rob, is because they have to regroup. Even MSNBC knows the propaganda is not
Yeah,
working.
I mean when you've got how many people are losing? You're just losing all you're losing all the advertisers. You're losing the viewers. You're losing all of it, and it's because of your, And honestly, I think you could track it back even further. But you could certainly track it back to, Joe Scarborough. Like, I've got a news information, and F you if you don't believe this.
Yeah.
This Biden is the best Biden. And then 2 weeks later, we saw what he did at the debate, and you're like, okay, I was a little bit wrong about that one.
Yeah, the best. This Biden is the best Biden.
This Biden is the
All right,
best
so-
Biden. F you if you can't handle it.
All right, so we've got to get to James Comey and Taylor Swift here in just a second. But before we do, I think it might be a good time to go ahead and do our New Horizon Real Estate Minute.
So, obviously, yes, it's time for the New
let's-
Horizon Real Estate.
Let's go to the owner, one of the owners of New Horizon Real
That's
Estate.
right. Yeah. So
Rob
let's
Spencer.
talk about it. So New Horizon Real Estate is just one of the many real estate companies here in the United States, but in Arkansas and Northeast Arkansas. And here's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with high mortgage rates. Now, there is not a direct correlation between mortgage rates and interest rates, but there is an indirect correlation. So interest rates are determined. So it's like the borrowing rate here for the Fed sets the borrowing rate. So if a bank wants to loan Paul or Rob some money, okay, they have to borrow that money, and they borrow that money at the rate that the Federal Reserve sets. Okay, mortgage rates are determined by the 5 and 10 year bond market, which are determined by the stock market. Okay, now as the interest rate goes, if that interest rate comes down, we might see a slight uptick in mortgage rates, but they will also come down. So right now, it costs about 5% for a bank to borrow some money. So if you go to a bank and say, hey, I would like to buy a car, or I'm going to buy this motorcycle, or I'm going to buy a house, and you're getting it directly from the bank, they're going to charge you about 7% interest rate, maybe 7.5% interest rate. And the reason is because it's costing them 5% to borrow that money. Okay, so they're making a little bit over the top. What we have right now is the bond market's, roughly around 3.5% to 4%, which is why you can get a 5.5% to 6.5% interest rate on your mortgage. What we need is the Federal Reserve to lower those interest rates so that the bond market also comes down and we see a reduction in the mortgage interest rates. Because if right now, if your mortgage rate is 6.5%, if we can get down into 5.5% or certainly into 4.5%, we're talking about $30, $60, $90,000 worth of buying power that these people also have.
So what will that do to the real estate market?
It's going to send it through the roof right now because we're kind of stagnant, and we're in a little bit of a bubble here in Northeast Arkansas, because if you don't buy here in Jonesboro, Arkansas, or Paragould, Arkansas, like, where are you going to buy? You might have to go down to Little Rock. You're probably not going to go an hour over here and buy in Memphis. Due to safety concerns there, you're not going to do that. So you're going to buy here, or you're just going to continue to rent. And for the longest time, it was cheaper to buy a house than it was to rent a house. So a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, the rent might be $1,000, or you could buy a comparable home for $900 a month. For a mortgage payment.
Right.
Now it is, the rent might be $1,000 or $1,100 or $1,200, but to buy that house, it might be $1,500 a month. Now, we have a lower cost of living if you're listening in a different state. So what we need right now is Jerome Powell to lower these interest rates.
I mean, that's what Trump has been saying. Like, I'm going to fire this guy if I can, because he's not lowering interest rates. He's all, saying inflation, and yet we're not really seeing as much.
I think what we're going to see is just an intense pressure placed on him over the next few months as it's going to continue. I also think that Jerome Powell is signaling that we might have as many as 4 interest rate cuts before the end of this year, which means that's maybe one in August, but September, October, November, like, we might start to see these rates. And so all of these people who are sitting there, so investors like myself who own rental properties, we're going to be refinancing those houses. Or apartment complexes or whatever. We're going to be refinancing those into a lower interest rate. Anybody that's purchased a house might also refinance that into a lower rate, which is going to add money into the economy, right? If you've got more money in your pocket, you're going to have more money that you can spend.
Lowering that payment,
Right, which is what everybody's afraid of, because it might push inflation through the roof here at this point. But they also said tariffs was going to do that as well.
Yeah.
Tariffs was going to raise inflations, and we've just not seen that so far. So what we need is Jerome Powell lower these interest rates so that it trickles down and it lowers these mortgage rates with the bond market. And hopefully what we're going to see is just a surge in new home ownership. All of these people who are paying this just astronomical rent are going to start buying a home, and then the investors who own these investment properties can refinance that, and if they can't get their place rented out, they're going to start lowering that rent. It helps everyone.
Wow. Thank you, Rob Spencer. We appreciate it. It's been your New Horizon real estate update. So let's go to James Comey. We were talking about this offline or via text message, Rob, as and this is a very strange video, to say the least.
It's top 5 strangest videos I've seen.
Now, James Comey could get indicted really any day now. I mean,
from your lips to God's ears.
That's right. And he posts a video like this. Again, this is the guy that posts, 8647 because he saw it with, he allegedly ran across it on the beach.
My 14-year-old son knows what it means to 86 someone.
Yeah, right. He didn't know the former director of the FBI.
So I'm 45. My 14-year-old son.
Yeah, he's very likely ordered people to be killed before.
I asked him, I said, hey, what does it mean to 86 somebody? He's like, I think that means to kill him. Because you've met him. He's awkward, right? Like, that's how he says it.
Come on, he doesn't sound like that.
No. He goes, I think it means to kill him. That's exactly how he sounds. That's a spot-on impression.
All right. Here's James Comey, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to my Substack. Last week's poll turned out...
First of all, that right there is cringe. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to my Substack. Like, good grief.
If you've been waiting for this update, guys, I'm here.
Ooh, have you seen the new James Comey Substack just
dropped? I've got
dropped?
this Substack that just popped,
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to my Substack. Last week's cold turns out to have been COVID. Quite a flashback. And Donald Trump is still president and still humiliating America on a national stage, standing next to Vladimir Putin. It's like a dream
Your
a
opinion.
bad dream you can't wake up from.
Your opinion, and you're wrong.
But I don't want to talk about that bad dream this week. I want to talk about a truly inspirational public figure named Taylor Swift. Of course, I watched her podcast.
A truly inspirational public figure named Taylor Swift. You know, there was plenty of people, and I agree with him, that think that the whole Kelsey Swift thing was a giant psyop to try to sway, to try to get people on board with leftism and using the NFL to do it.
Come on, man.
Okay, but aside from that conspiracy, if we just take this at face value, what a dork. Like,
Listen, I've got something really important to say. We are never, ever, ever getting back together.
that's
what I was expecting him to say.
Yeah. All right, the incredible public figure, Taylor Swift.
Guest interview with the Kelsey brothers. Of course, I watched the whole thing, although
Of course
on
I did.
YouTube, Patrice and I got kicked off for the last 15 minutes and finished it on her phone. But I watched it.
Thank you for telling us
You
that.
see, Taylor Swift,
I wonder what did he have for breakfast this morning? Like, I want to know, like, what else is James Comey?
Yeah.
Like, I want
Listen, hey,
more minutia. I need more detail.
Yeah, I was watching this, and I got kicked off in the last 15 minutes. So we started just watching on my wife's phone, And I feel like Taylor could write a song about that,
and I go way back. I went to my first concert
We
of
go way
hers
back.
15 years ago.
Oh, my God.
I've been to a second, and I have helped financially support the attendance of a lot of family members at others.
I just
For just 15 cents a day,
Listen.
you can send somebody to a Taylor Swift concert. And
15 cents a day for 73 years, maybe.
there are poor
Listen,
people out there. They've never been.
Okay.
Look at
I love
that
this
face.
pause.
I know, that's like the best pause ever.
Listen, I can't help this. I have so much secondhand cringe right now.
I know.
Like secondhand embarrassment cringe. I can't even handle
Can
it.
you imagine what it'll be like when he's in handcuffs? I mean,
You know what? I'll be cheering that one. I won't
I
be
know.
cringing, but I will be cringing at this face. Look at this. Like that needs to.
I'm in a family's Swiftie group chat.
there's a
I
family.
know all her music, and I listen to it in my headphones when I cut the grass.
Okay, he's reading this, by the way. This seems
And
like
who says cut
it's
the grass?
Almost like a. It's almost like a.
Somebody scripted this, man.
It seems like it's a hostage video in a way, though. I mean,
It's like Taylor Swift's people are like her Swifties. You will say this.
yeah. Taylor Swift is off camera.
Get over here.
Yeah.
You were cutting the grass. You were, and who says cutting the grass? Most people say mowing the lawn.
Well,
but
Yeah, that's a good point. He
Yeah.
probably hadn't cut his grass in
He's-
like 50
while
years.
you're cutting the grass,
Yeah.
you were listening to Taylor.
For that analogy
Say
to
it.
work,
Okay,
though,
I'll say it.
Taylor Swift would be attempting to rebuild her tarnished image by getting disgraced former FBI Director James Comey to stump
You
for
can
her.
get somebody a lot cooler like Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
James Comey.
Comey. That's what I want.
So yes, I have a favorite of hers, although honestly for me it's a tie between
tie.
All Too Well, 10-minute version, and Exile featuring Bon Iver.
I feel like he's narrating an NPR radio show from the old SNL days. You
Okay.
know?
Number one, both of those songs are great. Okay, I'm not a Taylor Swiftie. Okay?
I don't even know those songs, so
Okay,
I have no idea.
both of those songs are great. Both of those songs are great. But the fact that this 60-something-year-old former leader of the FBI is talking about mowing the yard as a Swiftie, and he's like, those are my two favorite, okay? And
Cutting the
I'm
grass.
I'm just telling you, I'm cutting the grass.
I'm a man's man.
I'm a man's man.
I'm-
I could build this furniture with 2x4s and
Listen to
plywood. No. Cutting the grass, listening to All
Taylor
Too
Swift
Well.
has grown up with my family and provided us a soundtrack.
Is it over
really,
yet?
As we've
I can't
grown
even-
ourselves and
No,
learned
it's
and
got like
adapted
4
and
minutes
dealt
left.
with
How you gonna
adversity
buy-
and celebration. She had songs for all of it. I suspect that's something that millions of Americans have also experienced in their families. I think that's because Taylor Swift produces great art, but also because she models something. At every stage of her career, she's shown a certain way of being that resonated with my kids and also felt right to me as a parent. And she's still doing that as a grown-up. Like a lot of you, I struggle with how to stand up to bullies without letting their meanness infect me and change me.
Is he okay? Hold
This
up.
is a former head of the FBI. He struggles to stand up to bullies. What in the world is this? This is weird, man. This is beyond
very
weird.
If he's about to use that, she's got that song. What is it?
Shake It Off. I do. No.
It's Why You Gotta Be So Mean. Why you gotta be so mean? Okay, this is not. Listen, I have an 11-year-old daughter who loves Taylor Swift, and I agree with him on some level here. Like, I would rather her idolize Taylor Swift than I would, who's the girl that sings WAP?
I don't know.
Whatever, but I'm just like, I'd rather her idolize Taylor Swift than that. And she likes. There's that song. Something about being mean, like why you got to be so mean.
I know you think I'm changing the subject slightly.
Okay,
a little bit more serious. I know you think I'm giving him way too much credit here, but this guy's a spook, and I think this is a coded message. I'm just telling you. I know
coded. You think
this is a way?
It's like activizing.
It's like Jeffrey Epstein got arrested, and then Ghislaine Maxwell goes out and she reads a book in public and gets her photo taken, and the book she's reading is about murdered CIA agents, right? Like, that was a message, okay?
Okay.
And I know this sounds crazy, but unless this guy is just legitimate, I mean, I do know he's a sociopath and narcissist liar. Like, we know that about him.
What do you mean?
But, like, for him to put this out, to me, I just feel like there's another message that somebody is getting from this, because this guy could be indicted any day. And
come on, Paul. Seriously, you think he's talking to the
it's just so
sleeper
odd.
cell
not
through Taylor?
I don't know about a sleeper cell, but I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know.
These guys,
I wouldn't put anything past this deep state.
This is the world they operate in, though, right?
You may have seen that the governor of California has been generating a lot of attention lately by posting on social media in a satirical way where he mocks Donald Trump and his all-caps megalomania and his absurdity. And I find it very funny. Hilarious, even sometimes.
Good job.
But I got to be honest, it also leaves me with a strange feeling at times, because I don't want us to become like Trump and his followers. There are far more decent, honest, kind people in America than there are mean jerks. And don't get me wrong, we have our jerks, millions of them. You may have noticed.
Yeah, it's not James Comey. He's not one of the jerks.
No,
he didn't lie to Trump's face. He didn't lie in the George Snuffleupagus interview. James Comey didn't leak classified intel to the media.
He didn't make a prosecutor's decision.
No,
because let me just tell you something. An FBI director is a law enforcement agent. They are to gather the facts and give them to a prosecutor.
Yep.
What did he decide? He decided
gave a press conference.
Yes, that no prosecutor,
reasonable prosecutor
would have looked at that and given the evidence, decided to prosecute. You're not allowed to do that. That's not your job.
Yeah, to this day, I really don't know what the motivation was behind that, going above Loretta Lynch. But anyway, this guy's not the jerk, though. Again, a career intel oligarch. Who made up a fake.
He's not the right person.
A fake Boy Scout image that is now tarnished.
Particularly, there's a stunning coarseness and ugliness in the Republican Party today. It's upsetting, but it's also a minority of America.
Oh my God!
All right, I think we're done with this.
Listen to me right now.
We're done with this.
Paul, is he trying to tell me and us and the world that the ugliness is on the Republican side?
That's what he's trying to tell you. Yes.
Okay. I just saw a video of two Republicans wearing American flag shirts. That's all they were doing. And sitting in Connecticut outside of a coffee shop.
I saw that video.
And some liberal soy latte dude, I use that term lightly, shows up and he's pissed off at them that they're wearing American flag T-shirts, and he's like calling them all of these things and spits on them. And of course, I'm just like,
and he was an older man too.
Please,
he wasn't like some young guy.
Like, I just want to have the power of teleportation, and I just want to teleport and just knock him out, because hopefully, when he wakes up, he's come to his senses and he's like, okay, wait a minute, this liberal fog that I've been in, this soy latte, men can be women, abortion is totally fine, all of that, this liberal fog that I've been in was totally wrong. I'm going to go to a testosterone clinic and I'm going to go get this problem solved. You know, that's what I dream that he does when he wakes up.
Yeah.
After being knocked out.
Yeah.
By a conservative. Now I'm not advocating for violence.
I know you're not, but I've had.
But
the
it's
same
like
thought,
just wake up, man.
Yeah, you just desperately. Well, you think to yourself, it doesn't have to be this way, you know, and yet it is.
It is.
All right. Are you familiar with the World Economic Forum, Rob?
I've heard of them, and I have no idea what they actually do.
Okay,
just
well,
stoke fire.
They are basically, and I mean this totally legit, like they are the organization behind any James Bond movie. Like they're the real life iteration of a James Bond villain.
Yeah, they're the ones that hire this assassin that does this
or you the old school James Bond where you had Spectre, and then you know the Daniel Craig James Bond. They actually had a movie called Spectre. Like that's really what the World Economic. And there I think there's even more secretive. But like the World Economic Forum, they've got a guy named Novel Harari who used to be one of George Soros's or Klaus Schwab's right hand man. Klaus Schwab.
Okay.
By the way, it's a great James Bond villain name. So is George Soros. But Klaus Schwab's right hand man, Novel Harari, put out things like legitimate, like being interviewed at the conference. Like what are we going to do with AI? Like and he's basically advocating for transhumanism. He's saying, the elite's going to rule forever, but we don't know what we're going to do with the workers. And he literally says with a straight face, right now what we're going to do is probably give them drugs and video games and basically like fake reality, artificial reality, and that's where they'll be because all of their jobs are going to go away. Like these are the things they've said. They've talked about, along with Bill Gates, blotting out the sun. Literally, they've talked about we need to do this. Some people think they already are in some instances, to fight global warming. But there's obviously nefarious purposes because the people actually need the sun. Like the sun is actually good for you.
I'm pretty sure vitamin D is actually crucial to your
absolutely.
mental health.
And basically just crazy James Bond plots.
Yeah.
Anything you could imagine that they've proposed. Well, so recently this new the World Economic Forum, had an event, and we've got this lady here who's now saying that, they haven't really done a very good job getting everybody to take the vaccine. They haven't really done a good enough job using climate change to push their agenda. By the way, I will just let you notice if you see the logo in the background, those are many people think that their logo is literally 3 6s, 6 6 6. So just something to think about. I don't think it's a coincidence because I do truly believe these people are evil. But listen to what they have planned for next. Next, they're going.
Well, even if it's not, Paul, let's not take away from what she's about to say.
Right. Okay. Sorry about that.
That is. Well, I'm just trying to say is like don't get so lost in that.
No, you're right. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. I want to
discount.
You've got to read people slowly here, and I get it.
That's true.
Here we go.
In our nation and globally. And did we solve that? Like, did we actually manage to vaccinate everyone in the world? No. So highlighting water as a global commons and what it means to work together and see it both out of that kind of global commons perspective, but also the self-interest perspective, because it does have that parallel. It's not only important, but it's also important because we haven't managed to solve those problems, which had similar attributes. And water is something that people understand. Climate change is a bit abstract. Some people understand it really well. Some understand it a bit. Some just don't understand it. Water. Every kid knows how important it is to have water. When you're playing football and you're thirsty, you need water. So there's also something about really getting citizen engagement around this and really, in some ways, experimenting with this notion of the common good. Can we actually deliver this time in ways that we have failed miserably other times? And hopefully we won't keep failing on the other things. But anyway.
So they failed
at what?
Vaccinating the planet, and they failed at pushing their climate change. So now they're going...
The failure, though, what's the overall failure?
To control people.
To control.
Yeah.
We failed to control.
Yes.
We failed to herd. we got to get this cattle.
And it's kind of
into
crazy.
this.
It's kind of wild because they controlled and herded a lot of people.
They did.
But
They did.
But not enough.
Okay. And all these people that say, oh my gosh, I'm getting so mad. The people that say that we're in a cult. If we were in a cult, we wouldn't have disagreed with Trump about the Epstein list.
Yep.
We wouldn't have disagreed with Trump about anything that he's done. Honestly, I disagree with him about Pam Bondi. I think he should have went to bat for the Matt Gaetz thing now that we've seen how it kind of played out.
Yeah.
Just go to bat for it. See if Matt Gaetz can win this thing. If they can't win it, then, hey, go to the second bat here. We can say all of that stuff, but we disagreed with Trump. I disagree with some of the crap that he says and going after these people and calling Taylor Swift no longer hot. Get over it. I'm tired of it. Don't do that crap. We disagree with him. We wouldn't disagree if we were in a cult. But yet you told your neighbors to take the vaccine, wear the mask that came from a box that said it doesn't protect against coronavirus. Okay, you said, well, we got to protect against this coronavirus. Here's the mask. What does that say on the side of the box? Does not protect against coronavirus. Put that mask on anyway.
Yeah.
Right? 6 feet away. You said all of those things and villainized the people and pushed them, got them fired, destroyed their life because the media told you to. Because the commander-in-chief said, we've been patient, but we're going to be patient no more.
Yeah, but this was the World Economic Forum with
Exactly.
with the World Health Organization all working together. But what I find interesting about this upping the ante is what they're doing is they've gone from trying to scare us into action with climate change to try to scare us into action by our own health, and now they're getting basic.
Yeah.
They're talking about
Let's go back to water. Let's go back to basics.
That's like literally the building blocks of life.
We will take
and
away your
oxygen.
water.
Yeah, and they're going to take it away.
They're going to take it
because
away.
they're going to have to make the crisis happen.
Yeah.
In order to get the control. So
we
basically, what she's advocating for is where totalitarian dictators eventually get. Well, we'll just starve them. If they won't do what we want them to do, we'll just starve them.
You understand water? If you don't do what we want you to do, we're going to take that water away. No,
Yeah.
That's not what she's saying. That's not what she's saying.
That's
Well, guess
exactly
what? Trudeau said everything short of that, and anybody that protested, we saw the trucker protest. What happened with the truckers?
They lost their money. They got debanked.
They got debanked. Anybody that donated to them, what happened to them? Debanked. You want to tell me this couldn't happen? It literally happened to our closest neighbor to the north. And it almost happened, and honestly, it trickled down because there were people that were donating within the United States, what is it? GoFundMe.
Yep.
Said they won't give them this
Yeah.
money. So it happened in the United States. You want to tell me that you are the revolutionary? You are not the party of the cult, but you would have been the first one on the train.
Yeah.
You would have been the first one on the train. You would have lined up because the government told you to. And I'm sorry that I'm fired up, but that is 5 years of frustration.
Yep.
You would have been on that train. And I'm not trying to demean the Jewish people who got on that train. I promise you I'm not. But those people willingly gave up their guns. And the United States are not going to give up their guns. And you're trying to do that. You're trying to with the Second Amendment. You want us to give up our guns, which will make it much easier for the government to take us over.
Yeah.
We're not doing it.
Well, and generally, after the whole COVID, I get your frustration for the last 5 years. I've had plenty of other shows to vent that frustration, but it's just crazy how so many people, we were talking off air about this, how so many people just want to pretend like the last 5 years didn't happen. I'm talking about some of the people that have come out of this, the people that were mask shaming, the people that were for the forced vaccinations or you lose your job, and they just want to pretend like it didn't happen. To your point about the guy getting knocked out and coming to his senses, there's a lot of people that have never come to their senses. They're just like, okay, moving on now. I don't have to apologize for anything. There's pastors.
We're the cult.
There's pastors and churches that shut their churches down that have never come to grips with what they did and the lies they believed. But
that Republicans are evil.
I do want to, real quick, as we're running out of time, this is not a new thing. The video is new, but here's another clip from 2 years ago at the World Economic Forum talking about water.
And now we need to put the economics of water, not only in terms of monetary values, but also in terms of governance, in terms of recognizing water as a commons that we now need to manage as a broad systems approach. So that's why this commission is not only necessary but urgent to take this challenge on. Not only have we...
So they're going to manage the water, and of course they'll mismanage it. They'll create the crisis. I just wanted to prove my point there.
Yeah.
And the last thing I'll say, we mentioned earlier the Dunning-Kruger effect. I just wanted to pull the graph up to kind of wrap the show in a nice little bow here. You see, you start a new task like barbecue, Rob, and your confidence goes through the roof. But this is the peak of your ignorance, and then you look at knowledge. You got the Y, you got the X and the Y, and look, this is knowledge, and so then your confidence crashes, and you realize how much you don't know, and then as you get more knowledge, finally you get back up to becoming the expert.
I really like how expert is way lower than the ignorance peak,
yes.
Because that is exactly what it is. So
and that's just true for anything,
Yeah.
I feel like.
Hey, Paul, didn't we filmed a new segment? Are we going to have time to get to
Do you
that?
want to get to? I cut it because we'll have to. I've got it.
We've had a serious show here, so I don't know if we can do it, but we cut a new segment here.
You want to do it?
Let's do it, man. So there's a new segment here, and it's talking about the left as their virtue signaling group. So we have filmed many of these, and this is just the first installment, and we'll
keep vamping.
We'll see. So the virtue signaling hotline. What do we see with the virtue signaling? We saw this. I saw a lady that was on the street corner that was talking about her dog being. She's non-binary, such and such or whatever, and the guy interviewing was like, "Yay! Let's tell me about your dog." And you're like, "Wait a minute! You're talking about the owner is so liberal in their view of things that they have now projected that on their dog."
Yep.
I'm not making fun of any gay. I have so many gay friends who would look at that woman's street interview and say, "What is she talking about?" Like, don't lump me in with her,
So what you're saying, but you're saying these people do exist.
They exist. This is not. We didn't pull this out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So all of these parodies exist from
in
real
some
life.
way, shape, or form. Okay, so we're going to end the show with this new parody. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, go to paultalkshow.com if you want to support us directly. Get a copy of Left Wing Will and the Red Pill if you become a paid subscriber. Rob, I'll see you tomorrow, sir. Really appreciate it.
See you tomorrow.
Folks, God bless everybody out there, and thanks for watching.
Virtue Signal Hotline, yes, it's true. We're better than you.
Virtue Signal Hotline, equality for all creatures. What's your question, caller?
My golden retriever is gay. Should I list his pronouns on his collar, or is that dog phobic?
Bark self works fine.
Well, what if he identifies as non-binary? Should I hold a coming out ceremony at the dog park?
That's a tasteful option.
Well, maybe I should just cancel his neutering until he chooses.
Well, that would respect his autonomy.
Okay then, alright, I'll just teach him to bark his truth at the vet. Hashtag pause and pronouns. Hashtag gay dogs.
Whistles blow, claps in time. Virtue calling on the line. Do the right thing every time. The Virtue Signal Hotline, we're better than you. Helping you shine brighter too. The Virtue Signal Hotline.